My kid opened wife's messenger and told me there's a guy sending strange pictures, so I made her pack her things without thinking twice. My wife and I married at 18 and 28 years together. 2 teenagers 17 and 15. We are both friendly and have many friends of both sexes. Early days fueled by booze could lead to some epic battles. I quit drinking 20 years ago. She did not. Any gathering that alcohol was a factor would be the life of the party. Many would take her free spirit as a threat to their relationship. Most realized she meant no harm eventually. As we grew older, she became more belligerent every time she drank, which wasn't often, only at events. The flirting became embarrassing to me and also to other sober people in attendance. If I approached her about it, it would be God forbid I ever let loose without being judged. Every fight that night at home would be her using the cruelest words and phrases, and belittling me about being the responsible adult. For the last 10 years she never remembers our fight. Always we would reconcile with make-up sex and move on. In 2021 we attended 2 weddings that year. She took on a new job and it totally backfired. High-paced, cutthroat big business. They allowed her to work from home, which she did from an office on 3rd floor. She would work from 7 a.m. to every effing day. This went on for some months and we attended both weddings in June. She got trashed. Hung all over random guys, trying to introduce me. I'm sober, mind you. We were heading to beach first week in July. Whole family and kids friends. New start maybe? We stay at a place that in order to access beach you must walk through an outdoor bar area. Wife and kids head down, I mess around and an hour later I bring the buggy and officially set up. Day 2 I come down and I start across bar patio and look to my right. I see my wife, beer in hand, talking to a below average guy Imo. She didn't see me. 40 minutes later she comes to chairs, totally pissed I couldn't stop and see her. I said I didn't want to interrupt. She gives me his history of beach life and says and he's not straight. A day later he approached her but she was sober and not real responsive. 3rd day I come face to face walking out of shower room, he had creepy eyes. During the ride home my youngest said to my wife, "Why did you keep talking to creepy guy?" By mid-August she landed, only by God's grace, her dream job. 44 and finally it went her way. I truly was happy and thankful. I was a little shell-shocked about how she was treating me, accusing, manipulative. Just how distant she seemed. Any way to dismiss, reject or belittle me became her obsession. I was totally confused. She traveled to South Carolina, New Jersey and Philadelphia. 3-day stays. She flew to SC in New Jersey. Took a train to Philly. Her contact with me was very little. I didn't press it. Out of the blue in the first week of December she says she has to make another trip to NJ. Definitely seemed odd. She would leave the 10th at 5 a.m. to drive there. December 9th is my youngest birthday. It's 7 p.m. and a few people are here, we have cake, candles, and happy birthday. Immediately wife looking at phone says she's got to make sure she's packed. She goes in bathroom, BA and turns water in the sink on. She's complaining about water pressure. She heads upstairs. I hear my youngest yell what, and goes in bathroom, and says yes I'll bring it up. My kid opens her Facebook Messenger and discovers that she's been communicating with the not straight guy from beach. She screenshot what she could because wife was now in panic mode. Hour later my youngest comes to me and fills me in. Kids are in panic mode, confused and fearful of the unknown. They go to rooms, I call wife down. Annoyed I interrupted her, she comes in what? I calmly ask if there's something she needs to tell me, talk about, reveal. No, she says, like what? I say another guy maybe, I know some info. She thinks I'm talking about her work people, no how about Patrick the not straight guy from beach? Her face and chest bright red. I reacted only, and it was only 2 times maybe I responded. So on Monday the 7th at 4:30 a.m. message on her instant messenger comes in. Hi, name hidden, did you have a great holiday? She responds immediately, hi, I did, you? How have you been? He replies with some crap about his holiday. He follows her on FB, Instagram and at 6:30 he asks, so are you coming over for Christmas? She never responded. It was intercepted prior. She insisted it was nothing. Him being inappropriate. He asked her another time, how's my favorite MILF? She obviously had been entertaining him. She immediately deleted him from all social media. She said her only sin was not blocking him before. She insists nothing secretive or inappropriate was shared. 1. When she went to Philly or NJ previously, did she meet up or was it planned for this trip? 2. If it was an emotional relationship, was it ready for next step on this trip? He's from Philly area. 3. Why would a so-called stranger basically feel he could ask you if you were gonna visit over Christmas? 4. Since she has returned to the person I loved and adored, she's great. 5. I have refused her sexual advances ATM. 6. I still believe there's more. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. You weren't clear about these trips. Assume she said they were for work? If so, likely she would not be given that time off with a new job unless this AP was somehow connected through the company. Furthermore, I am sure she knows where this AP lives, so you could check that against locations. Not saying this proves anything, but could eliminate possibilities. OP reply, I've investigated. After work she would have ample opportunity. She has cleaned all devices of histories, locations, etc. She definitely worked. Did she also play? Comment 2. Regardless of infidelity, your wife has absolutely no respect for you. I'll just ask, if you were to be seriously injured or fall ill, would she give up alcohol to be present to give you care? If you asked for counseling, would she misuse you further? Infidelity or not, it's time to take stock of the entire situation. Up to and including getting therapy for your children who may very well be at risk for alcoholism and high-risk behaviors themselves as they age. Given that their mother has been the kind of example she's been, and seeing you have enabled the behavior, early intervention would be prudent. Husband said he will leave me if I don't quit my job and become his housewife, so now I'm roasting him in the court. For anonymity, I can't go into details, but my husband, 34M, has developed something in IT that's well known, and it made him rich. I, 38F, am a chef and I make probably 1/100 of what he does. It doesn't matter for me, however, because I love my job. We have a great life together. We had our first child, a baby girl, 3 years ago, and our twin boys are 9 months old. I have a few months left of my maternity leave, and with the country closing up again, because of the new Omicron variant, I started getting worried that my workplace won't take me back. I voiced my worries to my husband a couple of days ago, and he just shrugged and said it's not like we needed the money. I was confused and told him that I knew that. It wasn't about the money. He just shrugged. I was a bit annoyed tbh, because I thought he didn't think it a big deal that I became out of work. Yesterday, I was still thinking about it, so I decided to talk to him again. He was confused and told me that I should instead be happy that I could spend more time with my babies. And he asked me why I insisted on working when we have 3 small children, and he made enough money for both of us. He didn't like me working 4 to 5 evenings a week, including 1 to 2 weekends a month. I told him that I love my job and that I'm good at it. I have been doing it for almost 20 years now, and that just the thought of not doing anything for the rest of my life is suffocating. He was visibly upset by then, and he accused me of loving my job more than my babies and him. I could always cook at home for the family, and if I was worried I would lose my independence, he could transfer the same amount I earned from my job to my private account monthly. I started crying and he kissed and hugged me and told me that he loved me, but he has been thinking of this since our girl was born, and he didn't like me coming home late at night. So I needed to choose between my job or being a family. I was startled. Did he mean it as an ultimatum? He did. He actually wants me to be a housewife, or we go our separate ways. I went to my mom's place first thing this morning. She listened to me talking and crying, but when I finished, she wasn't indignant on my behalf, like I expected. She was silent for a while, and then she asked me to think carefully about my next move. If we got divorced, I need to think about my babies. I will never be able to give them the life their dad is giving them, and I might lose them because of it. Is it worth it to change their lives so drastically and have them live in two separate houses? All that for a job. I have worked my whole adult life, and I just could see this as an early retirement. Many dreamed of this, why couldn't I enjoy it? I wasn't expecting my mom saying these things. She's always been this strong, independent woman who raised us to be independent and taught me to never rely 100% on anyone other than myself. Hearing her say all that made me question my feelings. Before I met her, I was totally sure I was right being hurt and angry, but now I think maybe I'm overreacting, and that my husband's request wasn't that unreasonable. But if that's the case, why do I feel like my heart is swollen in my throat? Why does it feel like he made this ultimatum because he knew he has power and he's using it? Throw any suggestion or advice my way, and please be honest, not rude, honest, because I feel I'm wronged here and I'm having a hard time thinking from my husband's perspective. Update. I don't work 4 to 5 days plus weekends. I work 35 to 45 h/week in total, and sometimes it's during the weekend. Staying at home mom isn't normal in my country. Daycare is free and we don't have nanny. I'm saying this because I want you to understand why I was taken aback about this whole situation. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to stay-at-home moms. He can't get sole custody just because of his wealth. Or because of my work hours. It doesn't work like this here, thank God. But I'm thankful for those who expressed worry about that, because I know this is the sad reality in other parts of the world. So to the update, I have had long talks with my husband about all of what happened, trying to understand his POV. I have told him that I can't see myself as a housewife, ever, but that I am willing to start looking for jobs with better hours, or that I can finally start my own restaurant. I could start searching for a location in office buildings and start a lunch spot, so then I don't need to work evenings and weekends. He didn't seem happy at all with that suggestion. He asked me why I'm so insistent on going back to work. He said these last months have been the happiest of his life, coming home from work every day to his family, and that he thought I am happy too. I am. I love being with my babies all day, but just because I'm enjoying my maternity leave, it doesn't mean I don't want to go back to work. In fact, I'm enjoying every minute now because I know it's not permanent. We had a row. He said he's always felt that I'm scared of him making much more money, and that I'm scared of being dependent on him, so if I'm insisting on working because I don't want to be dependent, he could pay me 10x what I earn to stay home. I started crying and told him I'm not going to be a housewife, and I don't accept ultimatums, so he should do what he felt fit. He said he's tired of going around feeling that his wife is intimidated by his success. He's doing this for both of us. I have to admit that I'm sometimes scared of him having more power than me. He said it's all in my head, but really, would he ever dare to ask me to quit my job if he didn't feel he had the power to do it? Could I ask him to quit his job with that same ease? There's no denying the power dynamics in our relationship, and I have all the right to be scared of it. So there was no progress really, and no matter how much I explain myself, he doesn't seem to understand me. And probably he feels the same way with me. It feels like we're on different levels. I have suggested counseling. He said he will think about it. Now we're just civil to each other, but we don't talk much, and we haven't been intimate since I first brought up going back to work. I love him and I miss him. I don't want it to end, but the ball is in his court now. My mom is very angry with me. We haven't spoken for a week. I don't know what to do with her either. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. Why doesn't he work a couple of days a week, if he's so concerned about the children spending time without one parent around? From what OP says, he is hot crap and probably can swing better working conditions. Additionally, it is much easier to do IT from home than it is to cook a steak. I'd say call his hand, OP. That is a crappy and controlling move to pull. Comment 2. Is there any way you could compromise and work 1 or 2 days a week? That way it's not all the time, but you still get to do what you love and take care of your kids. It's so important to have balance in life. I'm sorry you're going through this. Comment 3. Oh no, your rich husband wants you to spend more time with your babies while he builds generational wealth that will benefit your children and grandchildren. How will you ever recover from this? Leave him ASAP, that's definitely going to benefit your kids.